Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Friday, October the 29th, last day of the month, last trading day of the month. And the year is 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. This video is for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, taking a look at the weekly, all the gaps filled. We are 53 pips below the weekly open and only 6 pips above the weekly low, which means we put in, well, not necessarily, but just so you know, we're putting in the weekly low. Along those lines, you can see we broke out of the opening range for the week, and we are actually in the opening range for the year, only 42 pips above the yearly open. We are 212 pips above the monthly open. And we broke out of the inside bar, which happened to be Monday. Once again, we're 55 pips below the inside bar low. A lot of inside bar action today. Notice we've got a bunch of pairs over 100 pips in range. But what I found interesting is the pound has 140, the euro dollar has 144 pip range compared to the pound's 123. I can't remember the last time the euro had a bigger range than the pound. You can see we're 2 pips off the low. We came crashing through. The daily open here, you can see we took out the pivot early in the trading day. Looks like probably London session. And for those VWAP traders, I know I don't mention it much, but we're 83 pips off the VWAP at the moment. Looks like the green rats may get a chance to feast. You can see we popped off a one low, moved it up. Looks like it stalled right at the 3,700. Pivot trading plan. It said near the pivot bias is long. For some reason, we just got a low touch alert here, making a new low for the day. We're at S2 for the pivot traders here, daily S2. So the pivot trading plan steered, like it steered us wrong today. We have a missed pivot down here at 36.31 on the daily. On the weekly, it took out that missed pivot from last week. So this year we don't have any missed pivots, weekly missed pivots, and the monthly we took out a long time ago. The daily wick zone trade, you can see, never threatened the top, came out of the bottom a few times, and then came crashing out and went right through the lower wick zone. Something to note about the wick zones, and there's some place I like to call the no trade zone. When prices between the daily open and the weekly open, that's kind of a no trade zone. And so we had our daily open up here. And if I remember correctly, the weekly open was right around, well, let's just go back and look. Where's the weekly chart? Well, here's a weekly chart. 39. So right here was pretty much the weekly open. So the daily opens here, kind of a no trade zone. So you don't know which way price is going to go in here. Well, you never know which way price is going to go. But I just find it, you wind up just getting chopped up here. So usually you want to trade out of the wick zone when you're doing wick zone trades. But it's just one of those things to note when you're looking to make a trade. Look at where price is in relation to the wick zones. And also look at where price is compared to the weekly open versus daily. And looking at the range, really wasn't a big week, only 150 pips so far, 33 percentile, bigger than last week by 25 pips. We missed breaking the high by 5, but we crashed through the low right now by 30 pips. So yesterday it was almost looking like we were going to have an inside bar for the week, but I guess the big boy said nope, no inside bar in the week. High minus close 146, close minus low 4 for the rat traders. So if you were lucky enough to get that enter in the weekly rat zone short, the upper rat zone or red rat zone, it paid off handsomely. High minus open 90, open minus low 61. So buy zone traders on the weekly or any weekly crossover traders, so long as you crossed in the right direction, you were rewarded handsomely. And you can see here on the price action simple chart, Walmart traders, this hour, you've got a break here at 80. It's coming right to that line. Some big bars, all red. Candle colors red up into the monthly. M1 just turned green. And you can see here, it looks like we're getting ready to come through the lower high box. I'll put it back on the price action simple. Let's switch to the hourly just to get an overall view. You can see here 5H1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red in a row. So buzzard reversal traders, might be time to think about it, except we're now pressing down lower. The 3 ball just moved over. And this week we were talking about what not to do. And I'm thinking maybe next week we should talk about what to do after you did something you weren't supposed to do. Because maybe we should call that plan B. Because we talk about, having a trading plan and trading your trading plan, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens when you enter a trade and you entered it properly according to your trading plan, but things go against you? Well, of course, the first thing that'll come to mind is, well, you have your stop loss in place. But depending on how far your stop is away from the trade, are there other things you can do to maybe trade your way out? Or maybe you just decide to cut the losses short. So I think maybe next week we might investigate that. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't recall any questions out there. So I don't think anybody asked any questions. I've had a couple of indicator requests. I don't know if I have a chance to get to them in the near future. Oh, there was one. Somebody did ask a question via email. I just remembered but I'd already answered it. I don't know if they're listening to the videos or not. But they wanted to know what was the best time frame to trade. And I told them, number one, price is the same on all time frames. So, if it's 180 on the H1, it's going to be 180 on the 1 minute. Of course, anything above one tick chart is just data compression. We've been over that a few times. So my reply was, it's whatever time frame you say is the best time frame to trade, that's the one to trade. Now, one of the things I've mentioned before, especially to rat traders, if you're having problems trading the rat, and right now it's sitting on M15, if you're having problems trading and you're getting drawdown or you're taking losses, switch up a time frame or two. So instead of trading M15, take a look at M30. So with M30, for example, as it was making these rats, you wouldn't be going long on a red M30. At least that would be part of the plan. And then if you're having trouble with H1 or with M30, switch over to H1. And if you're having trouble with H1, go all the way up to H4. Now, obviously here on H4, you wouldn't have entered a rat trade, which overall, that wouldn't be a bad thing. So, for example, we have the rest of this hour, about 48 minutes. So you'd sit here and you'd just watch and you'd wait for this candle to close or for price to maybe start leaving this area. And you just wait and you wait and you wait till it turns green. So here would have been in the rat zone. And it looks like, or actually right here, I don't know, would that have been enough pips? Not quite. How about here? Yeah, here, not quite. Well, for me, it has to be about 60 pips. So you never even would have gotten a rat trade because the range wouldn't have been large enough. But the point is let's just say if this range had been large enough, as soon as it turned green, you could have gone long. And then if the range was large enough here, as soon as this turned green, you could have gone long. And you could have taken some profit. So, the moral of this story is one of the same things. It's just you have to wait for the trade setup to appear. And if you have a good setup, you should be able to use it on all the time frames. Because if you're stuck on one time frame to get that setup, maybe that setup really isn't as robust as you think it is. Now, of course, there might be exceptions to the rule, but that's kind of the rule of thumb. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a profitable day, week, and month. And I wish you all a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to your trading platform, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.